situation. So dang on sticky. Did you like that transition? You like that transition?
Yeah, there you
See
go.
that?
Like,
But seriously though, because Deshaun Watson, man, this is not a weekly rant that I want to do. I'm gonna be straight honest. I do not want this because of how we view Deshaun Watson. But
mhm.
nobody is above this rant. I didn't put myself in this rant. So nobody is above this rant. And if everything Deshaun Watson is being accused of is actually true, he's a sick fuck.
Yeah.
And because you know what's crazy though, the last time me, you, Dr. Javard was on, we actually had a conversation similar to this, and I think Deshaun Watson is one of the people that we named that we wouldn't expect to hear anything
Anything like
like
this,
this.
right?
And then two
I
weeks
remember
later,
that.
2 weeks later, here it is. And it's like, no. Third, Deshaun Watson has 13 civil lawsuits alleging sexual assault and inappropriate conduct.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I remember when the first one came out, I was thinking, okay, a civil lawsuit, not a criminal lawsuit. So somebody looking to get paid. Okay. But then when you see, okay, then another woman and another woman and another woman, it's like, okay, wait a minute. All these women got the same story. I don't know. That kind of makes you feel like, okay, because is anybody can get targeted for some kind of extortion, by one person. But 13 people?
Yeah, and it makes it look worse, and it doesn't look good for him. But I think some of the things that you were saying too, all three are civil suits. I mean, all 13,
Right.
excuse me, are civil suits.
That is true.
And from my understanding, some of these stories or incidents, alleged incidents, go back like over a year. So these are not older instances. These are recent things within the last year. Nobody went to the police about anything.
Well,
That's you know,
yeah, that's it makes you question like, okay, why civil suits and not criminal suits? So, I mean, kind of like piggyback off what we were talking about the other one. If it's only him and her in the room, it's just like the same situation. Nobody's gonna know what happened
right,
except those two people.
right.
So I mean, you could look at it like what you're saying. Okay, well, if it's only civil suits, these are money grabs. But if they know, okay, conviction is very unlikely. Um, Even charges being brought is very unlikely. The
Which they are.
only
To be fair,
right,
they are.
right. The only recourse we have is this civil suit, which the punishment is much lower because it's only a financial thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the burden of proof is also lower. Like whereas in the criminal case, is I can't remember the exact term. I want to say beyond a reasonable doubt.
Right.
And then with the civil, I can't remember, but it's not that. I want to say it's like either probable, like he probably did it or something like that. I can't remember the exact termination, but it's not beyond a reasonable doubt. Whereas in criminal, you need to be able to show, yes, they did it, like
Right.
without a shadow of a doubt. So maybe the lawyers, they just felt like, hey, this is our only recourse where we can, like at the very least for the victims get to tell this happened to me.
Now, from my understanding, all of these women are under the same lawyer. It's only one
Yeah,
lawyer, and they said from Deshaun Watson's camp is from this lawyer they tried to get money out of him for something.
before they did the suits.
Right. And so I just want people to take into account everything. Don't agree or disagree. Just look at all the facts.
Yeah,
Just look for the
it's a lot of
information.
moving parts. And then I think I read that the lawyer, he was either like a neighbor to the Texas owner or something like that. So, people were saying, oh well, this is something that they're trying to do to the drive down, because he was asking for the trade.
Yeah.
So to drive down the trade value, or make it so he could he they wouldn't be able to trade him and say, hey, well, we tried to trade you, but with
But
this thing, nobody wanted to trade
but
for you. So I guess
what?
you stuck
Yeah.
here.
What was also interesting is before these suits came out, the Texas owner was like, "We're not trading." After the suits, well, you're tradable now. So it's everything in this on from either side is not adding up.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I mean, unfortunately, the only thing really people can do is wait till all the facts are presented and see what happens, man. I mean, because like I don't think it's to the point where the NFL could step in, because like it's it's civil suits, which
Zeke
anybody can,
Elliott,
right, anybody can walk to the courthouse and file a civil suit against
right?
anybody.
But
So I don't think that's enough to step in and be like, okay, well, he needs to, we're gonna suspend him or something like
but
that.
but
But
see,
but it
that's
does
the thing.
create. Go ahead.
I, I think he's gonna get Zeke Elliott though. I think he's gonna get that because we were here 2 3 years ago with Zeke. He say she say no real evidence. They couldn't prove Zeke did anything, but it was still deemed as conduct detrimental.
Yeah,
And see, that I don't like. Why am I? Especially if the player didn't do it, and you there's no evidence to prove that the player did. The NFL is still going to say, well, now we're gonna punish you just in case you did something, even though we can't prove you did anything. I'm not. I don't get that.
well, that's one of those things that, yeah, that was probably in the next bargaining agreement they'll look at,
Right.
because, like you said, it's crazy. I mean, on the one hand, I can understand it, because, like, look at it from, if you're a player that's never involved in anything, right? But then you got these other guys that's always in the news for something else. That's making you as a collective look bad.
It
You know,
is.
like think about like with us, like being black men. Then you see another black man doing X, Y, and Z. I mean, at the you know on a micro level, it don't affect you, but at the same time, you be like, damn, cuz you
Look,
out here, you doing such and such. Now they gonna look at me like such and
look.
such.
Black quarter, and but you. That's a great point, though. That is a great point because black quarterbacks are still being punished for what Michael Vick did.
Mm-hmm.
Black quarterbacks are, and Cam didn't even do nothing wrong,
Right.
but because Cam Newton had the season he had last year, because of things that happened to him, that affect all black quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And that's another unfortunate thing about being in the NFL is, like you say, the actions of a few do affect the whole. They do, but it's even more when it comes to a black quarterback because the microscope is larger on them, and that's why I I hope Deshaun Watson isn't the predator that they're describing him as. Because if he is, throw his hey, well, not throw him away. I got to stop saying that. Not throw him away, but fuck him up, and rehab his ass. Because if you don't throw him away forever, he gonna come back out to society. But
Yeah,
whoop his
man.
ass, though. Whoop his mother ass.
Yeah, man. Cause like that stuff was crazy. Like, yeah, that stuff was crazy. I mean, like, cause I mean, like, these were like, people were supposed to be doing like professional massages and stuff like that, and it's like they didn't sign up for this kind of stuff. Now,
Right.
I mean, if you go get the Bob Kraft treatment, that's one thing, but these were apparently, like, licensed physical therapists and stuff like that. So they weren't signing up for the old
Tug and
happy
boo.
ending or
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah, yeah. Because and so, all right. To be fair, let's look at it from that side. Like, if Deshaun Watson was really out here doing this, like, because and you know, being a clean cut person, you will fly under the radar for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But if he was actually out here doing this shit, man, that's sick. Like, you just gonna go rubbing your meat on people.
Right.
You can't
Exactly.
just go around rubbing your meat on people. Um, and so it's crazy. But now I will say this though, it's crazy that an athlete who's accused of sexual assault will get more punishment within the sport and through the public than the former president. I will
Well,
say that. I will say that. But that just
well,
show you where we at as a country too.
I was gonna say, it's one clear difference between
Oh
the
yeah.
former
Oh yeah.
president and John Watson,
Oh
and
yeah.
as
One
far as how they look.
he Trump is white and support whatever gonna put money in his pocket. Because I don't even think Trump support white supremacy. Like knowingly, I think he support anything that's gonna help him.
I think that too. I think it's like he don't support them, but he ain't gonna speak against them because he know they ride for him.
Right. 70 million votes.
Mm-hmm.
But think about that though. So some of these people who voted for Trump are pointing their finger at Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. Well,
Make your mind up.
I was gonna say. I mean, if we gonna go to that, I mean, like that's nothing new for a lot of those types of people. Because I mean, those would be the same type of people that'll be like, oh, hey, uh, uh like, hey, if you follow this, then you a sheeple. But like, like, hey, we should all, no, the government shouldn't be able to tell us what to do, or is no
Oh yes,
government
they should.
handout. Right, but then when it's time for a stimulus check, of course they're gonna get theirs.
Of course. Look.
So
This COVID has shown that, especially in America, we need government.
right, or like, hey, they want to talk about the people, protesting the George Floyd, killing. Hey, y'all shouldn't be out here protesting. But then, they turn around and protesting the mask laws. They protesting. Oh, it's
And
okay
then
to protest. It's okay to protest that though, but
right,
you can't
we can
protest
protest
this.
what we want. And we can break into a federal building.
Mm-hmm.
There's a stark double standard in America when it comes to sexual assault. Um especially with white men and everybody else. And white
Yeah.
men in the category by themselves. Now, black men, I'm not going to put black men in the category with everybody else because black men going to be in that special category because of how we're treated with sexual assault. And even if Deshaun Watson has athletic privilege in this as well. Because if it was just regular old Tony, he'd be in jail right now.
Right. Like, look at the situation we were just talking about. I mean, that's just a regular guy at Penn State. I mean, Kansas.
Yeah,
Excuse
at
me.
Kansas.
So yeah, you 100% right.
Right. And it's just, man, when I first heard this about Deshaun, I'm not gonna lie. My first initial thought was like, nah, man, not Deshaun. Like, and I believe that was a lot of people's first thought. Like, come on, man, Deshaun, nah. I hope it ain't true.
Right.
I hope it ain't true. It doesn't look good and and it doesn't look bad. It's in the middle. It looks crazy as hell. This whole situation is crazy as hell. But like I say, but we have to think about it. What if Deshaun Watson was actually doing this?
Then he got to go. I mean, not like from the earth, but like it's probably not going to be a place for in the league
His
for him,
career is
man.
over.
Right.
His
I
career
mean,
would be over.
right. I mean, because like especially a quarterback. If he was a running back, maybe he could have a chance to come back, or some other any other position really. But a quarterback, that's a face of a franchise. So
Yeah,
it's like when you think of a certain franchise, you think of like any of the franchises. Like say when you think of the Kansas City Chiefs, you think of Patrick
Patrick
Mahomes.
Mahomes, bruh,
When you think of the Falcons, you think of Matt Ryan. That's the guy. So
bruh,
the quarterbacks is the guy.
bruh. Cam Newton went through hell because he got hurt, and is going through more hell because he had a bad season. So attach sexual assault charges with 13 civil suits.
Yeah. It
That's not an easy road to come
yeah.
back from.
Right. Team, yeah, like I said, if it's shown that he's done like these are things that he was doing, teams they not gonna want to stand behind him.
It's over. It's over. But he should lose all of his endorsements, and he should be prosecuted. Or well, no, this is not
It's
legal.
civil.
Yeah, so he's going to face that. I think his career will be over. It's going to be over, and it should be over if you out here doing that. It should be. Um, but once again, I always think though, how can we revamp our society so we don't keep creating sexual deviants, sexual predators? Because it's a cultural thing. Because America was built on sexual violence.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we dig up those roots and replant healthier roots so we don't keep producing sexual deviants, whether you male or female?
Hey man, that's a heavy ask. I mean, because it's like it's got to start with like how people are raised, man. I mean,
Yeah.
so that people are raised, hey, these are things that you just don't do. But then even then, like once they become adults, whatever happens, it happens.
Yeah, no, that's you can't control the actions of a person. Well, hell, parents, if even as parents, you can only teach your child, you can only train them to do what they need to do. When they go out, they're gonna do what they do. And you can't make nobody do the right thing.
Nah,
I just but because even when I say I hope Deshaun didn't do this, but still on the other end, if he did do this, you still have people out there falsely accusing people of sexual assault.
yeah,
And and so either way, it's still unsettling to either say I hope Deshaun didn't do this or to say I hope these women ain't lying. Either way is unsettling.
right. Yeah, it's like we was talking about the others. It's a tough situation because yeah, you don't you would hope you would hope, hey, yeah, he didn't do this, but at the same time you definitely wouldn't want somebody just going out here saying, pointing, hey, this person
Right,
did this to me, when they know damn well they didn't do anything.
right, right. I don't know. Hey man, look, like I say, if Deshaun did it, hey man, kick his ass. Kick his ass, and he need extensive therapy if he
That's for
did
sure.
do it. If he didn't do it,
Mhm.
the person who falsely accused him kick their ass and they need therapy. So that's